I did a video a while back talking about the best anime duos. I know I had like Gon and Killua, Naruto, Sasuke, Goku and Vegeta, all of them, and I'll leave that video in the description. But I don't think that they're the best duo in anime. I think that goes to Zoro and Luffy, and this is biased, right? This is just my opinion. So if you guys have a favorite duo that's not Zoro and Luffy, I can understand why. And the reason being is because I feel like the way their relationship is, it's the perfect relationship where I feel like some of them that I listed, except for probably Gon and Killua, they have a little bit of toxicity in their relationships. And I believe in like an SBS or something, Oda, he talked about Usopp being Luffy's best friend and how Luffy, he acts like a child around Usopp. Well, I guess Luffy already acts like a child, but he acts more his own age around Usopp. And where I don't believe that. If you read the story narratively for 1,000 chapters, you can see how Luffy and Zoro's relationship is the closest or the best in the crew. And also I know in chapter 1033, I believe, when Zoro finally learned how to use Conqueror's King, he says, yeah, kingly ambitions, etc., where he said, hey, this is a promise to my best friend and my captain. Where personally, I don't think Queen is Zoro's best friend. If you look at it, I think she's his oldest friend, but I think with all they've been through and what they mean to each other, I think Zoro and Luffy are both best friends, and that's his captain. Zoro and Luffy, their relationship is like Roger and Rayleigh. How they met is kind of similar in what they mean to each other. And Zoro and Luffy, they have a lot of parallels compared to other people in the crew. I might make a video about that in the future, but one thing, or some of the ones I like, is how they both, during the time skip when they train, their training involved fighting or going against animals. And then Rayleigh, he told Luffy he couldn't eat until he mastered something, and Mihawk told Zoro he couldn't drink until he mastered something. So they both couldn't use or get their favorite thing until they achieved their goal in mastering. I believe Zoro was armament haki. I think Luffy was observation haki. I'm not really sure. But then also there's when their parallels with Katakuri and King, they're both first commanders. How Luffy in Whole Cake Island, he was struggling against Katakuri because he was stronger, faster, had better devil fruit control, had better observation haki control, and how Katakuri, he was kind of gloating in the fight where Luffy ended up matching him in terms of power and then eventually surpassing him. And the same thing is happening with King. This is Zoro's Katakuri fight where Zoro, well, let's face it, King is stronger, he's faster, he's more durable. His devil fruit is a problem, where Zoro, he's like, he doesn't know what to do, he doesn't know how he could win unless he knows what King is. Where now he learns advanced conquerors and he's coding that on his blades, and now he's about to take the fight to another level where he's probably going to surpass King here. So I like how the two parallel, and they have more in the story. I have to do a Zoro in-depth video, but I'm waiting for Wano to end. But one thing I think we don't do well about, and comparing him to Sanji and all that, well, one, Zoro's not really fleshed out yet. We don't really know about his parents, etc. And two, I feel like we limit Zoro to being a surface level character instead of diving deep down about him. Because one thing I like about him is his depth about him and Luffy, how when they first met, he said, commit harakiri if you end up breaking our promise and getting in my way of becoming the world's strongest. To where Zoro against Kuma, he said, take my head, take my life, because Luffy would become king of the pirates.
わかった。首はやるよ。ただし、身代わりのこの俺の命一つで勘弁してもらいてえ。船長一人守れねえでてめえの野心もねえだろ。ルフィは海賊王になる男だ。
And I think this came in a movie, but we know the movies aren't canon. I believe Luffy told somebody that Zoro would be the world's greatest swordsman. I feel like we need to see that in the anime or in the manga. I think that would be pretty cool. And I also like the fact that they had chemistry off rip against Morgan. Luffy went in with a gum pistol against Himepo, and Zoro onigiri to Captain Morgan. How they already were able to mesh well together. Luffy wanted to recruit Zoro before even meeting him. He's the only member of the crew that want to do that. And then in their fight against Mihawk, we have to give respect to Luffy and what he did to his friend and not interfering in the fight where Johnny and Yasaku, they wanted to go win, and Luffy's like, wait, be patient. And then once Zoro lost, because Zoro's getting manhandled, it wouldn't make sense for him to beat Mihawk right off the rip, once Zoro lost, that's when Luffy went in to try to avenge his friend. In terms of physical strength, I think the two are portrayed as equal for a reason. Pre-time skip, they were stated as equal, and post-time skip, I think a lot of people, because Luffy has shown to be more flashy the way he goes with his gears, I think that's why people think he's leagues above Zoro, but he's not. They're portrayed as equal for a reason, and I say if they were to fight 100 times, Luffy's probably winning 51 of the times and Zoro's winning 49. I think it's an extreme diff fight. They're relative to each other, which is why they'll be close or equal end of series. And also when you look at it, they always fight together or clash against the same opponents. Morgan, Arlong, Hody Jones, Lucci, Fujitora, and now against Big Mama Kaido on the rooftop. We also saw Oda portraying them as equals with the Aqua Laguna, how they both used the Gumma Gumma no and the 300, I think it was 300 pound cannon, Zoro using his pound phoenix and Luffy just punching through the wave. I think that was cool. And we also have moments when Zoro, he checks Luffy. In a relationship with friends, you're not going to agree with everything that they do, right? And so Zoro, he checks Luffy, telling him what he can and can't do. And I love the fact that Zoro, he's like, Luffy, I know you're my captain and all, but if you waver or anything along those lines, if you don't demand respect for somebody that disrespects you, I'm gonna leave. Like, he said, don't do that crap. And I love that he checks Luffy, and he does that. We're talking about the new world and a lot of other stuff, which is great. And I also like the fact, there's this debate going on, what would Zoro do on Whole Cake Island? I'm gonna make a video about that. Because I see a lot of people, they are like, Zoro's just gonna cut Sanji down, or Zoro's gonna do this, Zoro's gonna do that, where I feel like they don't know him as a character, because Zoro doesn't just follow blindly. And I know you have those relationships with your friends where there's always the one person that's very carefree and very happy-go-lucky, and then there's the more serious one that it takes a little bit more for him to open up. But if he has to be serious, because nothing will get done if they're two carefree people, right? In a relationship with my best friend, I'm more of the carefree and happy-go-lucky person, where he's more of the serious type, where I have to get him to open up every now and then. We have the time when Zoro, he was getting mad at Luffy for laughing at Pika, and then Pika says something, then Zoro laughed, and Luffy's like, see, you can't help it either. I love that type of relationship between the two, and I think my favorite moment for these two throughout the entire series, it's still in Dressrosa against Pika, when Luffy was like, I'm going on ahead, and then Zoro blocked Pika. He was like, leave this to me. I love that he protected his captain, and that Luffy knew that Zoro was there and that he was going to do that. Like, that's just great chemistry. And the last thing I want to talk about is Whiskey Peak. You know, I didn't realize how many people dislike seeing that fight, because a lot of people tell me it looked forced a little bit, and I can see it to an extent, because when you look at Usopp versus Luffy or Sanji versus Luffy, there were scenarios or circumstances where it had to happen, and there was rifts and stuff like that. And I feel like Zoro versus Luffy, it was a misunderstanding, right? And so I think that was because Zoro and Luffy were so popular. We know that Luffy and Zoro, I believe on my anime list, they're one of the only two characters from the same series in the top 10. I believe, I know Lelouch, Eren, and I think Goku, maybe in Vegeta, they might be the only other two, but they're very popular. Zoro, he always loses to Luffy in the popularity polls, but like they're 1 and 2, and they're considerably like ahead of everybody else. So I think the community wanted to see who was stronger, and I believe this is the only way that Oda was able to portray that. And like I said, I do think it was a little bit forced, but I still enjoyed it. And I think, like I said earlier, they're portrayed as equals. They were equal in strength pre-time skip, and I think they're relative and almost equals. And I think Luffy has a slight edge to Zoro post-time skip, but in this series, I think they'll be equal. But I just think this was a way for Oda to clarify that and showcase their strength. But to conclude, Zoro and Luffy, they are the best duo in anime. They have, well, they fight together, they're equal in strength, they laugh together, they put each other in check, and they do anything for each other. Zoro would give his life for Luffy, and Luffy would give his life for Zoro, and that they want each other honestly and truthfully to accomplish their goals, and they do believe that they will do it, right? Luffy thinks he'll become the Pirate King, and Zoro knows that, and Zoro thinks he'll become the world's strongest swordsman, and that Luffy believes that Zoro will do that, and they don't laugh at each other's ambitions, and they want what's best for each other. Luffy said he needs no less than the greatest on his crew. And Zoro, he needs somebody with that big ambition in order to push him to be the world's strongest. But let me know what you guys think about Luffy and Zoro's relationship. How do you guys feel about it? Like I said, they're my favorite duo in anime, and I think they're the best. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also hit the notification bell to get never miss a new video from me. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok is on the screen and in the description below. And thank you guys so much for watching. And don't forget to unleash your potential.